Okay, so we are now recording. For this week, our topic is superficial mycosis, followed by dermatophytes. So first will be the superficial. So when you say mycosis, this is a term that refers to infections being caused by fungi. Okay, so these are diseases being caused by fungi. So kapag mycosis, maraming type of fungi. If it is only one type of fungi causing the infection, then you will call it as mycosis. So you have several types. You have the superficial, you also have the cutaneous, subcutaneous, and systemic. So when you say superficial, these are the infections you can see on the top of your skin. So they are on the outermost layer of the skin. So when you take a look at it, you can actually see the fungal infection. Makikita mo siya with your own eyes. Now, cutaneous, it is also on the skin, but on the lower level of the skin. Okay, so bandang loob siya ng skin. If it is on the subcutaneous naman, it is on the muscle tissues. Nasa tissues mo, nasa muscle area kapag subcutaneous. If it is systemic, ibig sabihin noon yung infection kumakalat na siya sa blood, sa circulation mo. So it now affects your organs and also affects your blood. Okay? So infections not involving the skin or deeper tissues just under the skin are termed to be as systemic mycosis. Now, let's begin with superficial mycosis. So sabi ko nga kanina, these are infections you can see on the topmost part of your skin. Okay? So it affects the cornified layer, so the stratum corneum of the epidermis. So you can, hindi lang siya sa skin, you can also find that on the hair, eyes, and ears. So that is also part of the superficial mycosis. Now, you use the term tinea, that is a Latin word meaning worm, because noong unang panahon, nakala nila the infections are being caused by worms. But now we all know it is being caused by fungi. So you're going to use the term tinea followed by the body site where the infection can be found. So that's how you call the different types of infection being caused by superficial mycosis. So ano example ng mga tinea na yan? Like tinea corporis, ibig sabihin yan, infection found in the body. Okay? Those are an example. So, the first infection is mycotic keratitis or keratomycosis. When you say mycotic keratitis, it means that you affect the areas of your skin with keratin. Okay? Now, most of the time, it can also infect your eyes or your cornea, causing loss of vision. So, paano yun nangyayari? So, nagsisimula siya sa balat, malapit sa mata mo, and then kapag yung infection na yan sa balat sa may mata mo, kinakamot mo siya, yung spores papasok siya sa loob ng eyes mo hanggang ma-infect niya mismo yung cornea mo. Now, the fungi, they will grow inside your cornea, causing loss of vision. So, nawawalan ka ng vision because of the white plaque formation in the cornea. When you say white plaque formation, yung cornea mo, nagiging puti ang kanyang kulay kasi nga, yung mga puti na yun na yung mga fungi. Dumadami sila. Okay? That's why you call them as the white plaques in the cornea. So example of the pathogens that can cause that are the following. So you have the Fusarium, Aspergillus, Corvolaria, Penicillium, Candida, and also other fungi under the opportunistic classification. But these are the most common. And then the most common of them is Fusarium. Ito yung leading cause of mycotic keratitis, the Fusarium. Okay? Next is the automycosis. So, automycosis naman, that is a fungus ear infection. So, paano nangyayari yan? So, the infection happens muna dito sa skin, sa tenga mo, on the skin of your ears. And then, kapag kinamot mo yan, yung mga spores niya, papasok dito sa loob ng tenga mo. So, kapag nangyari yun, magkakaroon ka ng infection, magkakaroon ng mga pus formation. So, meron mga nana na lumalabas sa ears mo. Okay? So, kapag yung infection dito lang sa labas, that is what you call the mycotic otitis externa. However, it can go inside, causing pus formation inside your ear canal. Okay? So, kapag sa labas lang, minor irritation lang yon. Kapag kinamot mo, pumasok yung spore sa loob, doon siya sa loob tutubo, sa loob ng ear canal mo. Kaya meron ka mga nana sa ear canal. So, the one that can cause that are the following. You have the Aspergillus, Mucor, Penicillium, and also Rhizopus. Those are the examples of fungi. Now, for the Pityriasis versicolor, ang tawag dito is an-an. As you can see in the picture, you're going to see the presence of white spots in your body. So they're being characterized as hypopigmentation with hyperpigmentation. Ibig sabihin ng hypopigmentation, yung balat mo nagkakaroon siya ng white spots. Okay, like that one. So you call that as tinea versicolor, also known as liver spot, tinea versicolor, dermatomycosis furfurecea, and chromophytosis. So you can find it usually on the trunk of the body. Diyan siya marami. Now, for you to say that it is really a pityriasis versicolor, you can actually get a wood lamp. Then yung wood lamp na yun, it is just an apparatus na may ilaw. And then, kapag dinaan mo yun sa katawan or dun sa lesions ng tao, if the lesions will fluoresce pale yellow, then you can say that it is pityriasis versicolor. Okay? So, sino ang causative agent? Anong tawag sa fungi? You call the fungi as Malassezia furfur complex. Bakit complex? Kasi tatlo siya. You have the Malassezia furfur, Malassezia globosa, and Malassezia restricta. So, those are the yeast under the Malassezia furfur complex. So, lagi sila magkakasama, mahirap silang paghiwa-hiwalayin, kaya tinawag na lang sila as one. Okay? Ang tawag mo sa kanila as one is Malassezia furfur complex. Now, this Malassezia furfur, they are actually part of the skin flora. So, talagang lahat tayo, meron tayong Malassezia furfur. Kailan dumadami yan? Kailan ka nakakaroon ng an-an? Kapag mayroon kang disruption sa normal flora of your skin. So, kunwari, nawala yung mga bacteria sa skin mo, di ba? You're taking antibiotics. So, yung mga normal flora mo sa skin na bacteria, nawala siya. Sino dumami? Dumami si fungi. Okay? Dumami yung mga Malassezia furfur. So, kapag dumami yung mga yan, definitely kakalat yan. Another condition na dumadami ang mga Malassezia furfur mo kapag masyado kang laging oily ang skin. Okay? Because they love oils. Okay? Gusto nila yung laging oily na environment. So, besides sa hypopigmentation sa skin, Malassezia can also cause dandruff. Kaya nga naman kapag masyadong oily yung scalp mo, nagkakaroon ka ng dandruff. So, bakit ba nagiging oily yung scalp mo? Kasi yung scalp mo, class, dry talaga siya. Ibig sabihin niya, meron kang dry scalp, 'di ba? Ngayon, since dry yan, ang reaction ng katawan mo, gumawa ng maraming oils, ng maraming sebum dito. Kaya nagiging oily siya. Kumakate, nagkakaroon ka ng mga flakes dyan, nagkakaroon ng dandruff. So kapag ganon, yung cause, possible na overgrowth niya ng Malassezia furfur. Okay? So again, ano yung mga area where you can find that? You can find the infection sa face, sa chest, trunk, abdomen, pwede rin sa scalp, di ba? Kung dandruff yan, madali lang yan. Just use an anti-dandruff shampoo. Kapag sa skin, yung mga ketoconazole ang ginagamit natin. So this is what it looks like, the Malassezia furfur. It is a yeast. So kapag yeast, bilog-bilog lang ang itsura niya and then you can see some hypha. Okay? Like that. Ito. So it is being described as spaghetti with meatball appearance daw. Okay? This one, spaghetti with meatball appearance. So you can see the spaghetti with meatball appearance sa skin scrapings lang, sa skin sample. Okay? So, ito daw siya. Ito daw yung mga spaghetti, ito daw yung mga meatball. So, paano naman if your sample is a culture? Paano kung culture? Anong itsura ng Malassezia? It will look like a yeast. So, kapag yeast, ang itsura niyan, mga bilog-bilog lang na cell. Okay? Pero, if your specimen is the skin scraping, yung mismong balat ng tao ang specimen mo, tinitingnan mo under the microscope, the Malassezia will appear like this one. The spaghetti with meatball fungus. Again, you can only see this appearance if your specimen is the skin scraping. Kung balat mismo ang tinitignan mo under the microscope. Okay? Yung mga yeast cells niya na unicellular, makikita mo yon kapag ang specimen mo ay yung nasa culture na, yung galing na sa petri dish. Okay? So, hindi mo makikita ito, yung spaghetti niya with meatball sa petri dish. Hindi mo yan makikita. Okay? Doon lang mismo sa balat ng tao. So again, they require lipid for growth. Gustong-gusto na yung oil. Kaya nga naman, for you to culture the Malassezia furfur, gagawin mo dyan, meron kang culture medium na para sa fungi, the Sabros, dextrose, agar, then you're going to overlay that with olive oil. And then lalagay mo doon yung mga specimen mo. Ano yung specimen dyan? Well, the skin scraping. Okay? Yung mga balat, yun ang ilalagay mo doon. Tapos hayaan mo lang siyang tumubo. Then after a few days, after 24 hours, you're going to see cream-colored, moist, and smooth colonies. Now let's go to Piedra. Now, Piedra, this is the fungi that infects your hair shaft, okay? So, ang hair natin, distributed yan sa katawan. So, any part of your body with hair, pwedeng tubuan ng Piedra. So, pwede yung sa face na hair, pwede. Pwede rin sa pubic hair, pwede rin yung sa ulo natin, sa scalp hair. And then you have two types of Piedra. You have the black and the white Piedra. So, you also call them as tinea nodosa, Shignon disease, or Bajal disease. So, this is what it looks like. This is the hair shaft, and then meron ka ditong black na fungi, like this one. Okay? So, this is what you call the Piedra. Now, this black, you will call this as a nodule. Okay? Mga nodule ang tawag dyan. If you're going to crack this open, so kumuha ka ng buhok, nilagay mo ito sa slide, 'di ba? And then nilagyan mo ng cover slip. Tapos kapag tinap mo yung cover slip na yan, masisira ito. Pag nasira yan, lalabas yung mga hypha. Okay, lalabas yung mga hypha dyan. It is composed of a hypha in a cement-like substance that attaches it to the hair shaft. Now, the black one, ito, black Piedra, kasi nga black itsura niya, di ba? Kaya black Piedra. It is being caused by the Piedra hortae. You can usually find that on the scalp hair. Yung white Piedra naman, it also looks like this. However, yung kanyang nodule, it is brownish in color, brown or tan. Brown or light tan in color. And then it is being caused by the trichosporon. Sorry ha, this is trichosporon. So meron dyan S. This one. Trichosporon bajedi, Trichosporon butanium, Trichosporon ovoides, and Trichosporon inkin. So common siya nakikita sa facial and genital hair. Okay, that is the white Piedra. Now, for the Piedra hortae, again, if you crack that open, makikita mo yung mga nodules niya. So, meron siya mga hypha together with asci. Okay? Asci containing 8 ascospores. Yung asci, na-discuss ko na yun last week kung ano itsura ng asci. Okay? And then, for the lab diagnosis, so just crush open the nodules to reveal the asci and the hypha. Now, for the culture of the Piedra hortae, so they are compact, raised center, slightly fuzzy. Sometimes they can have a metallic green tinge. Now for the trichosporon, it looks like this one. This is the appearance of your trichosporon. Now for the trichosporon, well, yung unang pangalan niya is the Trichosporon bajeli. Akala nila kasi dati Trichosporon bajeli lang. However, ngayon, marami nang palang Trichosporon. So, ang common na cause ng infection is Trichosporon ovoides, Trichosporon asteroides, cutaneum, and also the Trichosporon inkin. Okay? Now, for the white Piedra, so you can see that on your hair, pero usually sa face, nakikita, and also sa pubic region. Pwede naman sa scalp, pero kapag sa scalp hair kasi, mas common ang black Piedra. Okay? So, kailan ka nagkakaroon ng Piedra? If you are immunocompromised. So, if you have a malignancy, if you are undergoing chemotherapy, then you are prone to having the Piedra. So, ano ang appearance ng trichospora natin? So, it is made up of arthrochonidia. This one, yung mga fragmented. Ito, yung mga fragmented na yan, that is what you call the arthrochonidia. Also, this one, fragmented siya. So, arthrochonidia ang tawag dyan. Okay? You have the hypha. Ito, mga hypha yan. This one. Ito rin, mga hypha rin to. Ayan, may mga hypha. Okay? Plus the blastoconidia. Yung blastoconidia, itong mga bilog na yan. Ito, blastoconidia din to. This one. Yung parang merong siyang umbok. That is a blastoconidia. Okay? The protruding one. So, again, that is the 3 characteristics of a trichosporin. It must have an arthrochonidia, the fragmented one. It must have an hypha, like this one. Plus, the budding blastoconidia, like this, the protruding ones. So, the colonies are straw to cream-colored and yeast-like. For the biochemical reaction, they are negative for any carbohydrate fermentation test, but positive for potassium nitrate and urease. Those are the characteristics of your trichosporon. Now, for the tinea negra, so this is common in farm workers. Yung mga nag-hardin lagi, mahawak ng lupa. Kasi nga naman, this infection, the tinea negra, caused by the fine Anellomyces wernicki, you can find this fungi commonly on the soil. So kapag mahilig kayo mag-garden, mahawak kayo ng lupa, and then meron kayong immunocompromised pa kayo, may problema sa immune system, possible na tubuan ka ng mga tinea nigra. This one. Ito. Kaya tinawag siyang tinea nigra kasi because of the black color that you can find on your palm. So sa kamay mo, nagkakaroon siya ng mga black color. So this is what the colonies looks like. And then if you see on the microscope, may kita mo, meron din siyang brown color because of the high production of melanin. So, other name for the tinea nigra, you can also call that as Keratomycosis nigrans palmaris, Pityriasis nigra, Microsporosis nigra, and tinea nigra palmaris. And for the treatment, ketoconazole, itraconazole, and any keratolytic solutions, even salicylic acids. Now, it is being caused again by Hortea wernicki. So, yung luma niyang pangalan is Phyanonomyces wernicki and Extrophiala wernicki. So, ang bagong tawag na sa kanya is Hortea wernicki. So, ano ang kanyang characteristic? So, you can see here, it has a septate hyphal elements like this one. This is a septate hyphal elements and budding cells like this. So, kapag mga budding cells, ito, meron siyang protrusion like this one. Okay, meron siyang protrusion, umbok. Okay, like this. So again, septate hyphal elements plus budding cells. Those are the characteristics of your Hortea wernicki. Okay? Now, for the next PowerPoint, next is the cutaneous and subcutaneous mycosis. Okay, let's go to the cutaneous mycosis, also known as your dermatomycosis or dermatophytes. Okay. So the dermatophytes or the dermatomycoses, so these are a group of fungal diseases that affects the keratin tissues. So kapag infected ang keratin tissues, then it is under the dermatomycosis or the dermatophytes. Okay? Okay. Ayun. So, again, ano ba ang characteristic natin dermatophytes or dermatomycosis? So, one of their characteristic is that they cannot grow at 37 degrees Celsius. That's why the state that you're going to see sa mga fungi are all on the mold phase. Kasi 'di ba, kapag 37 degrees Celsius, 35 to 37 ang tumutubo ay mga yeast, 'di ba? But here, sabi diyan, they cannot grow at 37. So you will expect that you're going to see the filamentous form or the molds. So marami tayong makikita mga hypha, okay? So the genera that is common among this is the Trichophyton, Microsporum, and Epidermophyton. So ang ibang tawag din dito is ringworm infection. Why? Because they have a characteristic dry scaly lesion without inflammation. So yung kanyang mga lesion, pabilog yan. Kaya tinawag siyang ringworm kasi pabilog yan na dry, scaly, makate. Okay? So yung nagbabakbak na makate. Okay? Ring-like patches on the skin. Kaya tinawag siyang ringworm. Kung hindi siya makita sa skin, pwede rin siya sa buhok. The hair will become brittle and broken. Yung paghawak mo lang, nasisira na yung buhok agad. And also, your nails will be discolored. Okay? So, example of this one is the athlete's foot and also jock itch. Also, on table 27-1 from Mihon, these are the following ringworm infection. You have tinea capitis on the head, also favosa, Barbie on the beard, corporis on the body, manum on the hand, ongium on the nails, cruris on the groin, pedis on the feet, imbricate on the body. So those are example of ringworm infections. So, sabi ko nga kanina, puro lang yan mold phase. So, you can actually either see a macroconidium or a microconidium. Yun ang kanilang mga example of the structures. Later on, I'm going to show you kung ano ang mga macroconidium and microconidium. Now, they are geophilic. So, you can find them sa soil. Pwede mo siya makuha sa soil. You can also get them from animals as well. So, yung mga mahilig mag-alaga ng mga pets na hindi nila nililinis, possible na magkaroon ka ng fungal infections coming from your pets. Now, they will grow in a culture medium known as the mycocell agar or mycobiotic medium. So, for you to differentiate the dermatophytes from the rest of the fungi, you can actually use the mycocell agar or mycobiotic medium. They will grow 1 to 3 weeks. So, the first infection is the tinea favosa. So, this is what it looks like. So, makikita mo, ito yung kanyang ulo. This is the scalp. And then you can see the lesions here. Nagkakaroon siya ng mga peklat dyan. Kasi ito yung area infected with the fungi. Nagkakaroon siya ng dry, crusty, scaly lesions like this one. This lesion is called the scotula. Crusty, cup-shaped flakes called scotula. Ito yon. That is a characteristic of your tinea favosa. So of course, kapag meron kang ganyan, makakalbo ka na rin. So as you can see, kalbo siya, di ba? It is characterized by hair loss and scar tissue formation like this one. So the cause of that will be this fungi, Trichophyton scheinleinii. This is that, Trichophyton scheinleinii. Now for the tinea capitis naman, actually for the tinea capitis, you have two types. You have the gray patch ringworm and also the black dot ringworm. Yan, ito yung black dot. This is the gray patch. Okay? So for the gray patch ringworm, may kita mo siya sa mga bata. Ang difference niya with the black dot is that gray patch ringworm, they infect the ectotrix region of the hair. When you say ectotrix, sa labas ng buhok. Nakakapit yung fungi sa labas ng buhok mo. Pero, the other one, the black dot ringworm, this one, yung fungi nasa loob ng buhok, endotrix. So, pumapasok siya inside the hair shaft. Okay? Yun ang kanilang difference. Ang black dot, inside the hair shaft. The gray patch, at the surface of the hair shaft. Okay? So, for the gray patch, dalawa ang fungi mo that can cause that. You have the Microsporum odini and Microsporum ferrugineum. Of course, this can lead to hair loss like that. Mayroon ka mga gray patches. Ito yung mga gray patches na yan. Ito yung mga fungi. Mga fungi yung klase, mga puti-puti na yan. Tumutubo siya sa ulo mo, kumakalat siya. Malamang, makikita mo, meron ka ng hair loss dyan. Nakakalbo na siya. Kasi nga, nasisira yung tissue. Now, for the black dot ringworm naman, ang nangyayari sa kanya is that your hair, they become too brittle. Kaya kapag hinawakan mo yung buhok mo, agad-agad siya napuputol. Resulting in this, kapag nagbunot ka ng buhok dyan, hindi mo makukuha yung ugat. Diba usually if you pluck your hair, you're also going to get the roots of your hair, diba? But if you have the black dot ringworm, the roots will not follow. So the roots will remain. Kaya nagkakaroon ka ng mga black stubs dyan or black dot. Okay? Kasi naiwan yung root ng buhok. So again, it infects the inside of the hair shaft or the endotrix region. So the hair shaft, they become brittle, break off at the scalp, leaving the black dot stubs like this one. So the fungi of interest will be the Trichophyton tonsurans and Trichophyton violaceum. So this is what it looks like. It has a characteristic pectinate hypha like this one. Pectinate or antler hypha. Mukha daw siyang antlers. Okay, that is the Trichophyton. Again, Microsporum for the gray patch, Trichophytons for the black dot. Now, for the nails naman, you call the infection as onychomycosis or tinea ongium. Okay? So, you can see the infection starting here at the side hanggang sa kumalat na siya. So, itong area na mayroong black, kumakalat na yung mga fungi dyan. So, you can see the infection coming from the lateral, distal, or proximal. And then, the causative agent are your trichophytons as well. Trichophyton rubrum, Trichophyton mentagrophytes, Trichophyton tonsurans, together with Epidermophyton flucosum. So, for the tinea pedis naman, pedis coming from the feet, di ba? Sa paa, makikita mo. So, you can see, una muna makatim mo ng isang portion of your feet. Kumakatim mo na siya. Tapos, yung kati niya, kumakalat ng kumakalat hanggang sa ma-occupy niya na yung gilid ng paa mo hanggang sa umakit na siya sa taas ng paa mo. Kapag ganun na, nasa gilid na and taas yung lesion, ang tawag na doon ay moccasin foot. This one, moccasin foot na. Hindi na siya athlete's foot moccasin foot na. Yung athlete's foot, nandito lang, sa ilalim yan. Minsan, ang lesion niya hanggang dito lang, konti lang, may konti kang lesion dito. Yan ang mga normal na athlete's foot. Pero kapag ganitong itsura niya, na covered na yung buong paa mo, pati yung taas, even on the top of your feet, you will call them as the moccasin foot. Okay? So again, it affects the soles of the feet and toe webs. So in between your toes, meron ka dyan na mga fungi na tumutubo as well. In more severe cases, the sole of the foot may develop extensive scaling and fissuring and erythema. Like this one, meron daw pamamaga dyan. And also the disease may progress around the sides of the foot from the sole, giving rise to the term moccasin foot. Now, let's talk about epidermophyton flocosome. So epidermophyton flocosome, they are being characterized by structures called as macroconidia. Kapag macroconidia, it is club shape like this one. Ito, macroconidia yan kasi malaki, di ba? Kaya tinawag ng macroconidia. And then the epidermal flocosome, the shape of the macroconidia is club shape. Mukha daw siyang baseball bat. Okay? Ang tawag kasi sa baseball bat, club ang tawag dyan. Kaya tinawag siyang club shape. Okay? Sa ibang libro, baseball bat shape. Sa ibang libro, spatula or beaver's tail appearance. Okay? That is what it looks like. The beaver's tail, the spatula, baseball bat, club shape, macroconidia. That is the description of your epidermophyton flocosome. Okay? Now, for the microsporum canis naman, it also has a macroconidia. However, it is spindle shape like this one. Spindle shape with thick walls like this. Napakakapal ng kanyang cell wall. Ito, makapal na cell wall. And then inside, you're going to count 3 to 15 cells. Yan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yan, 6 na cell ito. Ito, marami. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So, sa loob daw niya, meron siyang 3 to 15 cells. So, again, take note Microsporum canis, spindle shape, macroconidia, thick walls, echinolate with 3 to 15 cells inside. And then one characteristic again of Microsporum canis is the spiny distal end like this. Saan ba yung malinaw dyan? Ito, medyo malinaw. Yan. So, yung kanyang dulo daw ng spindle-shaped macroconidia niya, matulis siya. Kaya meron siyang spiny distal end like this one. Now, the colonies of the Mycosporum canis, they have a characteristic color. So, they are fluff and white. However, the reverse color, ibig sabihin ng reverse side, pag binaliktad mo yung agar plate, makikita mo, merong siyang yellow color or lemon yellow or rich canary yellow pigment on the reverse side of the agar. Next is the Mycosporum gypseum. For the Mycosporum gypseum naman, so this is a geophilic type of a fungi. So makikita mo siya sa lupa. So, it can cause tinea barbae. It infects the outer portion of your hair shaft. So, ectotrix infection. Infected hairs does not fluoresce even if you use the wood slamp. And then for the characteristic of this one, spindle shape din siya. Spindle shape macroconidia like this one. Spindle shape macroconidia. However, the cells are only 4 to 6. Okay, tulad niyan, 4 to 6 lang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hindi siya lumalagpas daw ng 6 na cell. Yung kanina, Microsporum canis, marami, di ba? Hanggang 15 ang kaya. Ito, hanggang 6 lang. 4 to 6 cells lang inside. Like that. Another characteristic is that the end, at the end of the macroconidia, may makikita ka dyan na filamentous tail. So, dito daw sa dulo niya, meron siyang filamentous tail. So, hindi lang siya masyadong halata. Ito pala. Ito yung meron, this one. This is the filamentous tail. Okay? And then, sa kanyang culture, the color is cinnamon color, powdery granular. And then, on the reverse, kapag binaliktad mo daw yung agar, the color will be brown to red. So, again ang Mycosporum canis, the reverse pigment is lemon yellow or rich canary yellow. For the Mycosporum gypseum, the reverse pigment is brown to red reverse pigment. Okay? Again, Mycosporum canis hanggang ilan? Ang cells niya, 15, di ba? Mycosporum gypseum hanggang 6 lang. 6 cells inside, like this one. Hanggang 6 lang. Now, for the Mycosporum oedini, so this is responsible for the gray patch tinea capitis of children. So, the colonies of Mycosporum oedini, they are also cottony white. However, wala siyang pigment on the reverse. So, yun ang difference niya sa dalawa niyang counterpart na microsporum. Tandaan nyo ang microsporum na walang pigment, no pigment on the reverse will be microsporum odini. Again, microsporum canis, yellow, di ba? Yellow pigment, right? Microsporum gypseum, brown to red reverse pigment. Microsporum odini, no pigment on the reverse. Now, for the Microsporum ferrugineum, kaya tinawag siyang ferru from the Latin word meaning fire because of the color of the colonies. The colonies are intense orange in color. So, mukha daw kulay ng apoy. Intense orange color. So, anong kanyang characteristic? So, it has a very thick hypha with thick septa. Mukha siyang bamboo, like this one. Mukha daw siyang bamboo. Hypha with thick septa or a bamboo hyphae, like this one. Bamboo-like appearance of the hyphae. That is a characteristic of your Microsporum ferrugineum. Again, the colonies are intense orange color, just like the fire, kaya tinawag siyang ferrugineum. And then the hypha, it looks like a bamboo. That is the characteristic of your Microsporum ferrugineum. So how are you going to differentiate the different microsporum? So you can actually perform the test known as growth on rice grain. So ang gagawin mo dito, meron kang petri dish, tapos meron ka dyan na sterile non-fortified rice. So i-autoclave mo yon, tapos pagka-autoclave mo, ilalagay mo doon sa bigas yung colonies ng mga fungi. And then, after 10 days of incubation at room temperature, if you see the presence of growth, it can be Microsporum canis or other dermatophytes. However, if no growth ang result, so walang growth and then the rice grain turn brown, it is Microsporum odoni. Again, ang Mycosporum odini does not grow but turns the rice grain brown. Again, ang difference nila, ang odini, no growth on the rice medium, no growth. It only turns the rice grain brown. Now, let's go to the trichophytons. Now, the first is the trichophyton mentagrophytes. Again, that is the one that can cause your athlete's foot. So, ano ba ang mga infections dyan? Bisa sa athlete's foot, pwede rin class sa tinea capitis, corporis, barbae, and tinea cruis. So, ano kanyang characteristic? The characteristic is that it has both a microconidia and a macroconidia. So, as you can see on the picture, this is the macroconidia. Yung malaki, macroconidia yan. Yung maliliit na bilog, ito yung mga microconidia. This one. Okay? So, the microconidia are globose, but they may appear tear-shaped like this one or in clusters or grape-like. So, mukha daw silang ubas na magkakasama-sama. Okay? So, grape-like clustering of the microconidia plus a macroconidia, this one that is thin-walled, it looks like a cigar. So, cigar shape. Cigar shape macroconidia. Mukha daw sigarilyo or tabako, di ba? Cigar shape macroconidia. So, don't forget, yung characteristic ng trichophyton mentagrophytes mo, meron kang microconidia that will cluster like a grape. Mukha siya mga grapes. Okay? And then, a macroconidia na mukhang cigar. That is the characteristic. Another thing is that the hypha are spiral. Ito yung spiral hypha niya, this one. This is the spiral hypha. Okay? Again, cigar-shaped macroconidia, tear-shaped or grape-like clustering of the microconidia plus spiral hypha. That is the characteristic of trichophyton mentagrophytes. Okay? Now, for the trichophyton rubrum, wag nyo kakalimutan yung red kasi there are many things na color red associated with them. Unang-una, yung kanyang mga cells dito. Okay? So, as you can see, meron siya mga reddish, yung kanyang microconidia. So, ganun din siya. Meron siya macroconidia, meron siya microconidia. However, for the trichophyton rubrum, yung kanyang microconidia, they have a reddish color. Okay? Medyo red ang kanyang kulay. That's why, if you're going to culture them, you're going to see a burgundy, a red to deep burgundy wine color on the reverse pigment. So, kapag daw yung agar, binaliktad mo sa ilalim ng agar, meron siyang red to deep burgundy wine color. Dahil nga sa kanyang mga microconidia na kulay red, like this one. And then the lesions they have a clear center with a red margin. So, pati yung lesion niya namumula. Okay? Namumula yung gilid. So again, the typical microscopic feature of the Trichophyton rubrum contains clavate or peg-shaped microconidia formed along undifferentiated hypha. So do not forget the peg-shaped microconidia with red color. Now, for the laboratory test, you can perform the hair perforation test or what you call modified hair beating test. So, ang ginagawa dito is you're going to differentiate Trichophyton mentagrophytes from Trichophyton rubrum. So, ang ginagawa mo dito, class, tinitignan mo if the fungi is able to penetrate the hair shaft. Tulad nito, sinira niya yung buhok, pumasok yung fungi, kaya meron siyang perforation like this one. Ayan, ito. Meron siyang perforation na butas. Okay, nabutas yung buhok, pumasok si fungi. You will call this as hair perforation positive. So, paano ginagawa ang hair perforation test? So, kailangan mo lang ng buhok. 5 to 10 millimeters of hair fragments. You're going to float that in sterile water. Then, you're going to add a few drops of yeast extract. So, kumbaga, meron kang buhok, nandoon yung buhok sa sterile water with 10% yeast extract. Yung yeast extract, ito yung nutrient source na bibigay mo sa mga fungi. Tapos, ilalagay mo na doon yung colony mo that you're going to test if you want to determine if it is a Trichophyton rubrum or Trichophyton mentagrophytes. Again, dapat muna meron kang colony. Yung colony na yon, nakuha mo yon sa previous culture mo. Ngayon, kung yung colony na yon, you want to know if it is a Trichophyton rubrum or mentagrophytes, you're going to challenge that. Ang tawag sa test is hair perforation test. So, meron ka the petri dish na meron mga buhok, tsaka 10% yeast extract. Tapos, ilalagay mo doon yung colonies mo. Okay? And then, pagkalagay mo, you're going to incubate that, and then you're going to take a look up to 1 month, up to 1 month incubation. Within every week, you're going to take a look at the hair. Kapag nakita mo that the fungi is able to penetrate the hair shaft, it can be Trichophyton mentagrophytes. Okay? So, Trichophyton mentagrophytes typically forms perpendicular penetration pegs in the hair shaft. Kapag naman walang penetration, tumubo lang siya sa surface, that is the Trichophyton rubrum. Okay? Those are the difference. Now, for the urease test, this is another test to differentiate the Trichophyton mentagrophytes from rubrum. So, what you're going to do is that you need a urea agar, and then you're going to inoculate that with the Dermatophyte, and then you're going to incubate at room temperature for 5 days. Then, after 5 days, the Trichophyton mentagrophytes, they will become positive for the urease test. Magiging positive na si Trichophyton mentagrophytes. For the Trichophyton rubrum naman, after 5 days, they are negative for the urease. However, more than 5 days, they're going to have a positive reaction. So technically, pareho naman silang positive. However, mas mabilis si Trichophyton mentagrophytes. Si mentagrophytes, within 5 days, positive na. Si rubrum, kailangan niya ng more than 5 days for it to become positive. Okay? Now, for the Trichophyton tonsorans, so again, it also has a microconidia that looks like a peg shape with a miniature balloon appearance. Like this one. Mukha daw siya mga miniature balloons. So, it will grow well in thiamine supplemented agar. So, this is how you're going to differentiate it. Para ma-differentiate mo si tonsoran sa ibang Trichophyton, kukuha ka ng thiamine supplemented agar. Doon siya tutubo. And then, if you're going to use the STA, you're going to look for the rust-colored pigment on the reverse. So, kapag biniliktad mo daw yung agar niya, meron siyang rust-colored pigment on the reverse side. So, for the Trichophyton verrucosum naman, you can see this on cattle. So, sa mga animals naman ito. Okay, mostly. Then, it will grow well at 35 degrees Celsius. It also requires thiamine for growth. So, kapag Trichophyton sa mga animals, sa mga cattle, then that will be your Trichophyton verrucosum. Okay? So, let's go to subcutaneous mycosis. Now, for the subcutaneous mycosis, it infects the deeper skin layers, including your muscles, connective tissue, and bones. So, yun ang kanyang site. Tandaan ang tatlong site of infection of subcutaneous mycosis. Again, it infects the muscles, connective tissues, and bones. Okay? So, ano ang kanyang characteristic? So, the first one will be the chromoblastomycosis. This one. So, this is also known as verrucous dermatitis, chromomycosis, and chromoblastomycosis. So, it looks like they have a lesion that is described to as a cauliflower-like lesion. So, mukha daw siyang cauliflower ang kanyang mga lesion. So, this is what you call the chromoblastomycosis. Sino ang fungi that can cause this one? Actually, marami. Marami. Sila-sila. Pwede silang mag-cause ng chromoblastomycosis. So, it can be caused by the Fonsecae, Fialophora, Hormodendron, Cladophialophora, Rhinoclagella. And then the lesions of this one is what you call the verrucous nodule. This one. This is a nodule. Nodule yan. Nodule, 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 nodule. So they are the verrucous nodule. They will become ulcerated and crusted. Magmumukha silang cauliflower like this one. So the characteristic of this disease is the presence of sclerotic bodies. Ano yung sclerotic body? Ito yung sclerotic body class. Ito. Yung mukhang mga coins na yan, brownish coins appearance. Yan, ito yung sclerotic body. Yung mga mukhang barya. Okay? Now, if you see the sclerotic body, then possible na yan ay chromoblastomycosis. So, this is what the Fialophora verrucosa looks like. Meron siyang vase-like phyalite like this one. And then you have the conidia like this. Okay, this is the Fialophora verrucosa. Kasi meron siyang vase-like phyalite. Mukha talaga siyang vase. Okay? And you also have your carini, your Cladophialophora carini. It is being characterized by oval conidia in chains like this one. Oval conidia in chain. Ito. Okay? So that is the chromoblastomycosis. Now, let's go to yung mycotic mycetoma. So, mycetoma naman, this is an infection commonly found on the foot, sa paa. Kaya tinawag siya Madura foot or Maduromycosis. So, what you're going to see is that you're going to see swelling sa paa, swelling with exudate draining to the skin. So, meron ka daw paa na namamaga na may mga lumalabas na fluids. Okay, maga yung paa mo, tapos may mga fluid siyang lumalabas. So, ang ibang tawag dyan is the mycetoma or eumycotic mycetoma. So, sino yung mga fungi that can cause that? Marami. It can be Pseudolisteria boydii, Acrimonium falciforme, Majorella, Mycetomatis, and Majorella grisea, together with Ectophiala. So, paano mo masasabi na siya nga ang nag-cause? So, this is what it looks like. Yung skin mo, kapag kumuha ka ng skin sample sa paa, may kita mo meron siyang mga granules like this. So, if the granules is black in color, it can be Mycetomatis, grisea, or Ectophiala. If the granules are white in color, kapag puti, it can be the boydii or the falciforme. Okay? So, that is how you differentiate the different fungi under the mycetoma. Now, first is the Pseudolisteria boydii. So, for the Pseudolisteria boydii, ang ibang form niya, ang tawag ay Pseudosporium boydii. Pero gamitin mo na lang yung Pseudolisteria boydii. Ito kasi yung common na ginagamit. So, anong kanyang characteristic? Meron siyang, ito, oval conidia coming from annelids. Okay? It produces oval conidia singly at the tips of an annelid. So, may kita mo, nag-iisa lang siya, di ba? Nag-iisa lang siya na oval conidia. Ang tawag mo sa kanya ay anneloconidia kasi nga nanggaling siya sa annelid. Now, besides that, it also has a Cleistotecia. This one, the Cleistotecia containing ascospore. Ito yung Cleistotecia class, this one. This is a Cleistotecia. Kapag ito, binuksan mo, ito mangyayari sa kanya. Ito yung bukas na Cleistotecia. May kita mo, may lumalabas dyan na puti, those are the ascospores. Okay? So kapag sarado, nasa loob niya yung ascospore, ganyan. Kapag binuksan mo siya, if you crack this open, this is what it looks like. Lalabas yung mga ascospores. Okay. Next, Acrimonium falciforme. Now, for the Acrimonium falciforme, it produces mucoid clusters of single or two-celled slightly curved conidia born from phyalite. So, this is your phyalite, and you can see the conidia is slightly curved, like this one. Slightly curved conidia, and then they are clustered together. So, meron siyang mucoid clustering. Ibig sabihin, no, nagdidikit sila. Dikit-dikit sila na slightly curved conidia. Okay? So, that is your Acrimonium falciforme. Now, for the Majorella, meron kang dalawa, Majorella mycetomatis and Majorella grisea. Anong kanilang difference? Yung temperature. So, Majorella mycetomatis, it grows best at 37. Slower growth at 40. Okay? However, for the Majorella grisea, mas gusto niya yung room temperature or 30 degrees Celsius lang. So, dapat mababa lang ang temperature kay Grisea para tumubo. Pareho lang sila ng itsura microscopically. Meron ka mga sterile hypha dito with brown color. Kasi brown talaga ang kanilang itsura. Pareho lang yan, may mga brown. Okay? So, Majorella myxotomatis, they produce conidia at the tips of the phyallide. The colonies are white and becomes yellow, olivaceous, or brown with a characteristic diffusible brown pigment as it ages. Again, it grows best at 37 degrees Celsius, slower growth at 40 degrees Celsius. Yung isa, the Grisea, ganun din, brown din ang itsura niya, meron din siyang brown reddish pigment. Ang difference niya lang is that it grows at 30, again, 30 degrees Celsius or the pwede na room temp, but optimal growth is 30 degrees Celsius. Okay, so let's go to Ectophyala. So Ectophyala, they are conidia coming from annelids. So you're also going to observe anneloconidia. However, the conidia, they tend to aggregate in masses like this one. Nagdidikit-dikit din sila. Kung meron ka mga aggregating conidia at the tip of a conidiophore, then it can be Ectophyala. Now, for the colonies, yan ang kanyang characteristic. Actually, the colonies are the thing that you're going to look for kapag Ectophyala because the colony are very distinct. Siya lang ang may ganitong colony. So, it produces olivaceous to black colonies. They are initially yeast-like this one, yeast-like siya, but becomes velvety at maturity. So, from this one, magiging ganito itsura niya. So, una muna, olivaceous black na colony like this. Tapos, kapag tumanda na siya, ito na ang kanyang itsura. Nagiging velvety upon maturity. Like this one. Mukha siya mga siopaw. Okay? That is the Ectophyala. Now, for the Sporotrix kenki naman, this is a fungi that causes the condition called lymphocutaneous sporotrichosis. So, makukuha mo to kapag ikaw ay mahilig mag-alaga ng mga roses. So, kapag daw yung balat mo na prick ng mga thorns ng roses, then yung fungi dyan pwedeng tumubo, causing infection. So, ang tawag sa kanya ay rose handler's disease. So, besides sa roses, pwede rin daw sa mga sphagnum moss. Okay? So, ang tawag sa sakit, sporotrichosis, lymphocutaneous, fixed cutaneous sporotrichosis, or mucocutaneous sporotrichosis. Again, makukuha mo siya sa mga thorns ng roses, kaya tinawag siyang rose handler's disease. And then, ano kanyang laboratory diagnosis? So, sa kanyang tissues, okay, so, if you're going to take a look at the tissue of the patient with the infection, and then you're going to culture that, you're going to find a cigar-shaped yeast, like this one. Cigar-shaped yeast. Mukha daw siyang yung tabako, yung cigar. Okay? Hindi sigarilyo ha, hindi cigarette. Cigarette is different. Yung cigarette, manipis. Kapag cigar, medyo ganito oblong. Okay? The small cigar-shaped yeast. Do not forget on the tissues, they are small cigar-shaped yeast. However, if you culture them sa agar, pwede siyang maging mold din. Pwede siya maging mold kasi nga ang Sporotrix kenki, they are dimorphic. So meron siyang yeast face, meron din siyang mold face. So dalawang kanyang muka. Pwede siya magmukhang yeast like this one, cigar-shaped yeast. Pwede siya magmukhang amag or mold like this one. Kapag amag siya, you're going to see that the conidia, they develop a rosette pattern. So mukha daw siyang rosette pattern ang kanyang itsura. Mukha daw bulaklak. Like this, mukha daw bulaklak. O yan. Rosette pattern ang kanyang mga conidia. Okay? So again, at 22 degrees Celsius, the colonies are initially white, glabrous, and yeast-like, turning darker and more mycelial as they mature. Now, for the miscellaneous fungi, you have what you call the Rhinosporidium seaberry. The infection is rhinosporidiosis. Okay, so anong itsura niya? What happens to you? What happens to you is that you're going to have hyperplasia of the mucous membrane or a tumor-like polyp. Like dito, yan, sa mata mo, meron tumutubo na parang extra na balat. Ito yung tinatawag na tumor-like polyp na yan. Ang tawag sa sakit mo ay rhinosporiodosis. Saan mo ito makukuha? Kapag ikaw mahilig kang maligo sa mga natural body of water, tulad na lang ng mga lakes, di ba? Mga lake, mga river, yan. Diyan maraming Rhinosporidium seaberry. So kapag pumasok siya sa sa mata mo or any part of your mucous membrane, pwede kang tubuan ito ng Rhinosporidium seaberry like this one. Okay, kaya be careful kapag mahilig ka mag-swimming sa mga body of water such as the lakes, mga lake. Yan, mga lake tsaka river. Wala naman sa dagat, mga lake and river lang. Okay? So, Rhinosporidium, it is actually a protozoan. However, inaaral na siya sa mycology. Kasi nga, dati akala ay, akala nila ay fungi, pero it is actually a protozoan or a protist. Protista siya. So, it is a eukaryotic cell pa rin. Akala nga nila noon parasite eh. Kasi if you're going to take a look, mukha siyang mga parasite, ova ng parasite. But it is actually a protist. So, this is what it looks like, yung kanyang tissue. Meron siyang presence of the large spherical sporangia like this one. Yan, mga large spherical sporangia. That is the characteristic of your Rhinosporidium seabearing. And of course, just take a look at the manifestation sa pasyente. Meron siyang mga tumor-like polyp. Tapos, kapag kinuha mo tong polyp na yan, hiniwa mo, tapos nag-stain ka using the PAS or H&E, itong kanyang itsura. Sa loob ng polyp na yan, ito yung itsura niya. Merong mga large spherical sporangia. Okay? So, that is the lecture for today. Do you have questions about the lecture? Anyone?